This is live number 2 for this Sunday evening. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all are well. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful week. Happy holidays to everyone. All right, everybody, 3-part live. This is pertaining to the unaliving of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, and David is known as a suspect, also a suspect number 2 with the latest information coming out per TMZ, ABC, and also information I found in Rolling Stone. Let's start with the fact that the medical examiner needs outside help. Per the Rolling Stone, it was said that the medical examiner is seeking outside sources, experts, to help with determining how Celeste died. If indeed it's a homicide, accidental death, as I gave you all information in my earlier live pertaining to the decomposition with a body being frozen, it speeds up the decomposition, breaking down the cells inside of the person's body. This is a terrible, terrible case. I don't know what happened to this girl, but as I said before in my commentary, and I'll say it again, reports believe or say they believe this man had dealings with this girl maybe as far back as 12 years of age. So there's no logical reason she should be unalive. Accident, deliberate. The fact that she was decapitated, I put in a short that where is her head? Some say it was inside of the Tesla. I tried to find some articles, but I didn't find anything that said that the head was actually in the Tesla. If it was, I stand corrected. It's no big deal. The point is, I shouldn't even be talking about a person decapitated in the first place. I should not be talking about a child decapitated, torso intact, but arms severed, meaning the arms were cut off and also chopped up into pieces. Did you hear that? So yes, I can see why the medical examiner is having a problem with trying to decide how this child passed away, and now seeking outside sources to get a rendering to what happened to her, okay? The house, the mansion where David was staying, I got a notification, information through the Newsbreak app that that house is going to be up for rent. Let's talk about that for just a second. Who wants to live in that house? Considering it may be a direct link to Celeste Rivas Hernandez, beheaded, cut up. Who the hell wants to go in there, even assuming she was unalive there? I wouldn't want to live there. And as I said in my short earlier tonight, people die different ways. Natural, unnatural, heart attack, homicide, stroke, whatever. But the knowing that a house is too much to digest. And I, frankly, if I had the money to rent a home, that's several $1,000s, that's not the place I would want to rent. As I put in that short, being sarcastic. Are you going to throw in the tools to the new renter? Is that going to be a welcome gift? Here, I got some new tools in the garage. They haven't been used. I guess they didn't have time to use them on that girl. I know that sounds terrible, but I'm just saying. You're going to have to get some type of discount to get somebody to go in there and rent that damn house. If it goes for $20,000 a month, it might want to be slash $10,000. And I get it, a person probably has to pay a mortgage on the house, that's why they're renting it. But baby, only somebody crazy and macabre themselves would want to go live in that mansion where David resided, okay? It's a lot to this case that's sickening. Just like that Josh guy, the manager, he said that Tesla belonged to another management. Well, how many managers does he have, David? And now I'm hearing that Tesla belonged to you. You rented the Tesla. Then they said David bought the Tesla. I don't know what's going on with this David and Josh character. Josh may have more to do with this case than we assumed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he immediately wanted to remove himself by jumping on TikTok and responding under a video, when he should have been responding to somebody like Banfield or KTLA News. You understand where I'm going? No rendering definitive answer on how this girl died. Former home for rent. As I said, who would want to rent the house? I wouldn't personally, but somebody possibly will. Have mercy on them, because I would not want to know later down the road that Celeste was murdered in that house. Do you understand? And dismembered, because everybody knows you have to have somewhere very quiet to do that type of deed. It's not something you'd want to be doing in an apartment, but we know that people have been unalived in apartments and also dismembered. Jeffrey Dahmer, he did all of the above to the men in his apartment. And trust me, people were complaining about the stench and nothing was ever done. Checkmate. But in a house, you can do lots of things to the human body uninterrupted. The next set of news is that David is not cooperating. Gee, I don't think we're shocked. Why would we be shocked at that? He's had nothing to say since this girl was discovered in his trunk. Parents have allegedly put the news out that they want an answer from him, explanation from him. Obviously, he has yet to consult with these people, talk to the family members. They have yet to talk to the news and give a formal statement, which I find very bizarre. Hell no, I'm not shocked that he's not talking and now not cooperating. So he's hired a very fancy lawyer, Miss Burke, last name spelled differently than his. And I'm assuming she's told her client to just be quiet. Please, let me handle it. That's why you pay me the big bucks. Shh. That's what got him in this mess in the first place. Shh. July 29th, the car was parked. Then if you go back to earlier commentary, which I did, here's a neighbor saying, oh, the car was moving around. That's why I know she couldn't have been in that trunk July 29th, because she would have thawed on out in 1 month, don't you think? 3 weeks is an estimate in one article, news briefing, that they believe she was in there for 3 weeks. So you got all these different versions and people talking. You don't really know what to believe. When she died, how she died, who's all involved in her death, dismemberment, disposal, which they're saying the second suspect, he or she has done all of the above, which leads me to believe that maybe David had a little killers club going on, if you understand. Some little underground group. You don't really know what to believe. Hello, Lennox. This is just so live. He's telling her and the audience that he media trained her. That's what he said to her. And she said no. And then he responded, that would be, what was the word he used? What is it? I can't think of the word. But anybody who watched the video knows what I'm talking about. Then she replied, no, it would only be such and such if you such and such children. So she was telling the story then, and that's why he wanted the live deleted. He was following around with a child. That's a crime. He should have been arrested for that. I don't even know what the district attorney's been waiting on. I would have just stacked the charges gradually. Stack the charges gradually. And sometimes you'll hear detectives say, we just want to get him on something. Hell yeah. I would have got him on statutory rape. And then I would have just waited on the medical examiner. Yeah, I know he would have bonded out. But as their seat. That's my point. And you can best believe he is nervous as hell. He's got information about a truck, information from TMZ about a truck, mystery truck. Don't know how they got that information, and verification of a truck being tracked out in the middle of nowhere, Santa Barbara County. Oh, he's wondering about that. He's wondering if he's been seen. He's wondering if he's been seen going to that car, fumbling around with a dead body in that damn Tesla. How many times he went fooling with that Tesla, moving it around. And if the neighbors say it was moving around, there may be some truth to that. And then you got to ask that question. Why were you all moving the Tesla around? Playing hopscotch with a Tesla. And then go get another Tesla, a red one. Oh, that ain't my car. It ain't my car. Everybody's saying it ain't their car. Well, how did Tesla get there? Oh, it drove itself from the Tesla dealer and parked itself in your garage. Is that the version you all going with? It's too much. I don't know, coming from the manager, but nothing coming from David. And he's the star of the show. I bet you all didn't think about that. And you know the police and the district attorney's office is hot butter upset that somebody's been leaking out this information. It's really going to be effed up if there's some truth to everything that we heard about the truck, the body being frozen, which I can't see anybody lying about that, but that's coming from the medical examiner. So what I'm trying to understand, why are you just not telling us this, that the body was frozen? You could have told us this back in September. Body has been ID'd, was partially frozen in a plastic bag, head removed, head in the bag, head not in the bag, arms cut off, arms chopped up, red a tattoo on the hands, legs and feet missing. Why you couldn't say that? Let's keep this grown, folks, okay? Ain't no need to hide nothing. I get this. They do this with true crime detectives, district attorney's office, medical examiner, whatever. They wait to give you bits and pieces in the news. Have you noticed that? Because you'll hear something later and you'll be like, oh, I didn't know that happened. They give you bits and pieces, the state of the body, the location, how the house looked, so on and so forth. But when you want to tell us that somebody was found dead in a damn car, why don't you just tell us everything about what was in the car? What's the damn secret? The car is registered to him. His name is on it. The tag is on it, Texas tag. What's the damn secret? Arms on, arms off. Legs on, legs off. Head on, head off. Head in the bag, head not in the bag. That's what you found at the house. You don't have to tell us that you found partial remains in the house. Anything belonging to Celeste, as far as hair, brain matter, you want to keep that on the low. I get it. You want to surprise us later. But right now, we're getting a little bit of too many little small surprises. And it ain't adding up. Partially frozen. PI saying the car was parked the 29th. Anybody that can count knows she wasn't thrown out for no damn 1 month and 1 week. So somebody ain't telling the truth. Mr. Fisher, would that be you? You tend to like the metal and high profile cases of missing people, dead folks. And from my understanding, you don't give accurate information. So once again, you're in the hot seat for this buffoonery you've put out about the car being parked July 29th. And then I did research through Google, and Google says it only takes a couple of days to thaw out, depending on your size and your weight. A hot city, a hot car. Because the neighbors are saying the car was playing hopscotch on the street. So when you saw the car July 29th, you claimed you never saw it moved again. But the neighbors said otherwise before you even came out and started talking. They've been told the news that car was moving around, doing a Hollywood shuffle. So are you sure you know what you're talking about? And now with this information that the body was partially frozen, your information can't be accurate. That's the last time somebody parked the car and you believe that she was in there. Oh, she would have been thawed out in 1 month in hot weather, July. July is hot. August is hot. September is hot. I think you need to find your new job and stay out of true crime. You might need to stick to doing work from home on a computer. But if you the type to know how to tell the truth, you don't need to deal with the public at all. I said that, and I meant that. Now, back to business. What happened to Celeste? Because if we bank on this shit that Mr. Fisher was talking about, we'll be all twisted up. I don't think she went there a lot. She didn't visit his house a lot. Well, she probably died there a lot. How about that? Dismembered in that house a lot. She was stored somewhere, kept somewhere, in a freezer or a refrigerator, as some articles are claiming. So she was kept somewhere very, very cold, Mr. Fisher. Where might that place be? So we have to start at the beginning. When was the last day this child was alive? Who company was she in? How did she get dead? Was she murdered? Accidental death, why you cut her up? You could have just disposed and threw her out whole. Make it make sense? And what did I tell you earlier in my live? People only dispose of bodies in that fashion of dismemberment when they know the victim and can be tied to the victim. And he knew he could be tied to her because he liked showing her off in live streams and taking her in public and hanging around his friends, studios, and doing different things. And people can put him and her together, and possibly her parents can put him and her together. Checkmate. And you knew that, David. That's why it doesn't make any sense that you would even be having sexual relations with the child, knowing you could be put with the child. Help Queen understand, because I'm lost. I'm surprised if her cousin was involved, the one who was spotted with them. Well, it could be anybody. Never say never when it comes to murder. What was the motive? Who's the second person, third person? Why are you all helping him unalive a human? Because TMZ says before, during, and after. That's some heavy, heavy accusations to put on anybody. Because now you got to ask yourself, why was she murdered? And if you're going to now put a number 2 in there, before, during, and after, that means they got some information. Somebody's possibly talking, and this makes me think this is some type of conspiracy. He wanted to have, let's say, a cohort. You see, his songs have been telling the story of his thought process. The videos he has put to print was showing you his thought process. And then he decided, I need a real victim. No more make-believe. No more writing songs. No more animation and videos. I need a real, live victim, pretty girl, pretty hair, underage. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he found all those things in Celeste. And whatever the motive is, in the end, it does not matter, because you have no business fondling with a kid, hanging with a kid, dismembering a kid, and disposing of a kid. And you did all those things, David, and whomever else we're speaking of. And the block is hot because TMZ is lit up like fire. David on every day talking about you and your mystery friend and this mystery truck. And I got a feeling it ain't about to be a mystery much longer. I got a feeling somebody gonna get a good and maybe a not so good Christmas present. We're gonna get answers about Celeste, which will be good. And somebody might be getting put in handcuffs, not so good. You see, it's an old saying that what's done in the dark will surely come to the light. And I got a feeling this case is going to come to the light. It may not make no sense, but something's going to come to the light pertaining to Celeste. Somebody's going to stand account to hurting her, dismembering her, disposing her like she's trash. And as I've always said, she's a child of God first, okay? And that is not how you treat a child of God. Do all type of unsavory things to her and then chop her up like she's nothing and throw her in a plastic bag, frozen. Oh, I forgot you put her in the freezer after you did all these things to her, cut her up, and then put her in the freezer. You were awfully busy, David, I must say, because the way TMZ described it, torso, arms are unattached. They've also chopped up the arms. But when I played the content again, he never said nothing about the head was in there. He just said she was decapitated. So if the head was in there, hey, I don't know. Like I tell people, I wasn't there. I just know this is some sick SHIT to be talking about a kid in this form and fashion. So those are the latest developments. The medical examiner is seeking outside experts to help with a rendering of her autopsy. There may not be an autopsy rendered. I don't see nobody renting it, but then we got some sickos that probably will rent it. And then Mr. David is not cooperating with law officials, and that's to be expected because he ain't said that children are, so they don't end up a Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And you also need to mind your children so they don't end up a damn David in a cohort. Do you see where I'm going with this? These are boxes you don't want to check on an application. No, I do not want to become a victim. No, I do not want to become a killer. Checkmate. Do you think that the person he was with that night ended up speaking to the police? Possibly. In order for them to track a truck, to put his name attached to a truck, means you've seen him in that truck. You've got some type of information. David was in that truck in that county doing some hours. And now to say that somebody helped before, during, and after means he had a cohort from the start. That means somebody done squealed. Unless they found something through data, such as what I said before in my live earlier. He recorded it and taped it and took photos. And naturally, he would want a souvenir because why do you have the torso and or the head with that girl anywhere? In that state, Oregon, Washington, Nevada. Come on now, let's keep it real. You've had much time to dispose of her. Go up the coast, go down the coast. There's no reason to be dismembering a body, putting it in the freezers. All of this is whack to me. And that would lead me to think that perhaps there were other people living in the house, as Mr. Fisher said, because you got to put her somewhere quick after killing her. So that means she was in somebody's freezer somewhere. Now, as I said, I don't know if he had a crash pad, another home. Mr. Fisher said she didn't go to that house much. She was in East LA a lot. So where was she killed? Where was she put into a freezer? See, all these questions we're asking because of this dodo bird giving us information that may not even be the damn truth. Because Mr. Fisher, if you saw him go into the car one time on July 29th, you should also have a camera that told you he was moving the car about. Around and around and around. Or somebody, you should have seen somebody moving that Tesla. Or is it the neighbors are alive? Stay woke, everybody. Stay woke. And as I said, you can't smell death in ice, I don't think. So now, as I said, you got to figure out when she died, how long she's been frozen, where did all these events take place? Why in the hell would you put her in your own damn car, knowing you've committed a crime with statutory rape of a child? Think. But see, this is what happens when you're cocky, you're arrogant, you're a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath. You don't think because you don't care. You're invincible in your eyes. And you fuck up. And boy, did he fuck up. Because if you were going to unalive her, you could have been dumped her somewhere. But see, the thing about dumping people, there's an eye in the sky. You have a car that records every damn thing. So the only thing left is borrowing somebody else's car or getting a rental. And you're still leaving a blueprint by signing your name on the dotted line, either through your email or going in person to rent a car. You see what I'm saying? And you gotta go get the car in person anyway to pick the damn car up. And don't think, there's always an eye in the sky and underneath the damn car, inside of the car. And then God forbid, you're stupid enough to have a sidekick with you. You gotta hope they don't talk. So are we gonna find out that sidekick talked? They pick and choose what they wanna tell us, how they wanna tell us. And it's gonna be very disturbing if we find out David had a sidekick in this crime. And the motive was, I did it because I could. Wasn't love, wasn't lust, wasn't crime of passion. I wanted to see what death tastes like, feels like, looks like. I met somebody who had the same ideology that I have, and they wanted to play this game with me. Because you do have underground groups that partake in filth, pornography, violent pornography, and red rum. And who's to say he wasn't involved in some type of group? Found somebody on the internet. Because as he said, I love the internet. I grew up on the internet. The internet was my world. Because you got to remember that is how he met Celeste Rivas Hernandez. So he could have possibly met him another victim or cohort. Emails and pictures and videos and phone conversations, text messages, video chats that he possibly never end up. And I think most of you know this. You need to mind your children. You need to know who your children are talking to and where they are going. That's why you have to talk to your children about stranger danger. And stranger danger is not just a stranger. It is also the strangers that you think you know. And that goes for everyone. Parents, family members, neighbors, teachers, rabbis, priests. The guy at the coffee shop, it's all the same. Trust no one. And sadly, we live in a world where you cannot trust people. And as I say all the time, you can end up a victim as well. No one is exempt from true crime. And sadly, this child had to find out the hard way. She ran away from something and sadly ran to death. Her own murder. This is absolutely horrific. Follow me on the News Breakout. Follow me here on YouTube. Comment under this video and on my shorts. Take the polls on my community page. And also check the community page or say the updates to breaking news. This is very deep, and yes, it is very heartbreaking. Hello, country. I wasn't expecting to hear that she was frozen. I had assumed that she possibly had been stored somewhere or in the house for a while, if I was to believe she had been unalive spring, summer. I said, well, she was somewhere. And considering that's not his house that he was staying in, I'm assuming that's what he did. I don't know how tightly he wrapped her, because I thought I heard in one entity she was in a bag, in a tote. I'm not really sure. But the point is, in the home, she had to be preserved as not to smell. This was not his home, you see. He had a manager rent that home, and the manager rented it from somebody else. So this is a three-party story pertaining to that mansion. So you know she had to be unalived somewhere. Number two, to be dismembered somewhere and then disposed of, which leads us to the Tesla. And the fact that they also said other people participated, second persons participated in the disposal. That was first. I kept thinking, well, you don't really need two people to dispose of a person or even dismember them. Jeffrey Dahmer did it all alone, every time. No help, no sidekick. And we saw David dragging the body in the video slowly. So you really don't need any help unaliving and cutting up a person. You just need the proper tools and the time and the place and to be undisturbed. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $sign Big Angie, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. This is a dirty story. And as I said, whatever the motive is irrelevant because you have no reason to unalive a child. He had no reason to unalive this child, and nor did any other participants. And I pray that everyone involved that had knowledge, participated, cut an arm, leg, whatever you did, you go down with David. Do you understand what I'm saying? I want everybody's head on a platter that had knowledge participated. Thank you, Lennox. Everybody needs to go down that has knowledge. And her parents, they need some whoop ass too, because they didn't honor their daughter by taking care of her and making sure she was safe. And when you become content with allowing your children to run in and out of your, and most children run to the street because they're running from something at home. Yes, you have a child that run up and down the street and come in and out of your house. That ain't gonna work. And your child will get into all kind of mischief. They're gonna be talking back, cursing you, putting their hands on you, drinking, getting high on drugs, having sex. That ain't what you want for your child. They get grown, they can do whatever they want, but you let them know, so long as you in my house, you go mine, and you gonna go to school. Somebody didn't tell Celeste Rivas that. And that. Please don't let this happen to your child. Please do not let this happen to your child. Justice for Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Thank you. And thank you for joining me tonight. I will talk to you guys later. I will bring you a movie of the week tomorrow. Stay safe. Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll jump back on this week to give you more stimulating content and commentary. And please be safe on your travels. If you are deciding to fly, take a train, bus, or drive to your destination for Thanksgiving, please be safe, everybody. I'll talk to you guys later. You have been listening to the Vault Exhale. Thank you.